Between the years of 2003 and 2005, one MTV series made such a big impact on pop culture that you couldn't go to a shopping mall without seeing kids wearing heartogram shirts, brimmed beanies, and sweatbands printed with the logo of said show. The TV series I'm referring to is, of course, Viva La Bam. With the show's quick 5-season run in the span of 2 years, MTV sought to develop new series to fill the void left by the show's end. Today we'll be looking back on the spin-offs of Viva La Bam. First, we'll take a look at the shows that Bam wasn't involved in. The CKY crew was undoubtedly the backbone of Viva La Bam. Without them, the show wouldn't have been as successful as it was. So it makes sense that MTV wanted to take advantage of their talent by developing spin-offs hosted by those members. The CKY crew portion of the supporting cast on Viva La Bam consisted of Brandon DiCamillo, Ryan Dunn, Chris Rabb, and Rake. The spin-offs hosted by supporting cast members of Viva La Bam were Homewrecker with Ryan Dunn and Blastazoid with Brandon DiCamillo and Rake. The only crew member who stepped away from the spotlight was Chris Rabb. He spoke about the matter on his Bathroom Break podcast.
At the end of Viva La Bam, the 5th season, the last episode, the producer girl was like, okay, this is going to be like the last shot. And I was like, looked at her, I was like, this is like the last shot. This is like the last shot we have to do of anything. And she's like, yeah, this is anything. I was like guaranteed I'm not getting called back for anything. And she's like, yeah, like what? And so I turned my car on, did the pickup shot, got in the car, drove off, and was like, I'm never fucking talking to those people again. And I knew that in my mind. Really, I mean, yes, there was a falling out with Bam. I had gotten to a point with him where I couldn't stand to be around him.
Bathroom Break is an excellent podcast, by the way. I can't recommend it enough if you haven't checked it out yet. I'll leave a link in the description of this video. The first spin-off we'll take a look at, Blastazoid, was a TV special that aired during Gamers Week on MTV2 in 2006. The concept involved bringing video game scenarios to the real world. Ryan Dunn actually did the same thing about 5 years later on his G4TV show Proving Ground. But unlike Proving Ground, Blastazoid also showcased user-generated clips from the internet with commentary by Rake and Dico. The concept was ahead of its time, for sure. We would see a similar concept in the coming years with MTV's Ridiculousness and Comedy Central's Tosh.0, which, when you think about it, are just America's Funniest Home Videos but for a more mature audience. The first and only episode of Blastazoid involved the making of a massive set piece based on the 1982 arcade game Donkey Kong, which was over 5 stories high. Apparently, the Guinness Book of World Records was contacted during the making of the set piece, but the world record for live-action video game was too subjective of a category to hold a public record in their eyes. Which is too bad, because clearly a lot of work went into the making of this thing. Rake threw on a Mario costume and traversed the ramps and ladders, as you would in the original 1982 Nintendo classic. He was pelted with barrels, or fiber drums painted to look like barrels, on his way up the ramps. This was easily the most entertaining portion of the special. The rest of the show contained internet clips from then little-known YouTube creators such as Smosh and Mega64, among others. There are a few mentions online about a supposed second episode, but it's most likely a rumor that spread as a result of the clip shown at the end of the special. The clip showing real-life Frogger looked absolutely hilarious but was supposedly a joke, and only one episode was ever developed. Which is unfortunate, because like I said, the idea behind this special was way ahead of its time, and it could have resulted in a full series if given the chance. But honestly, Brandon DiCamillo's humor works best when he's allowed to just do things his own way. The scripted dialogue used in the show didn't really fit his comedic style, but I will admit, it's always funny to see him mess with Rake. Next, we'll take a look at Homewrecker, which aired on MTV in 2005. Running between October 30th and December 18th of that year, for a total of 8 episodes. The show revolved around participants who were victimized by one of their friends and sought revenge on them, with the help of Ryan Dunn. Most of the episode would involve redoing the room of the prankster friend as a form of revenge, a twist on the concept of the, at the time, popular shows Trading Spaces and Extreme Makeover Home Edition. The show also included a segment in which Ryan showcased different pranks that could be performed at home, which were edited in the style of 1950s training videos. I was about 13 years old when Homewrecker was running. I was the target audience for this series. I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember seeing it on MTV or hearing anyone talk about the show. I couldn't find any information regarding the TV viewership ratings for this series, but it aired on Sunday nights at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm not sure if MTV played reruns of the episodes during the day, but that doesn't really seem like the best airtime for a show like this. I don't know about you, but I had to be up for school at about 5:30 in the morning, so I was probably doing last-minute homework or sleeping by the time this came on. I discovered the show years after it ended. It's worth your time if you've never watched it. I'll put a link to the episode playlist in the description, although unfortunately the playlist doesn't include the last 2 episodes. Dunn was really great on this show. He was totally genuine as the host and seemed to have a great time making it. Finally, the last spinoff we will discuss is Bam's Unholy Union. Bam's World Domination actually was the last of the Viva La Bam spinoffs, but I've already discussed that TV special in my previous video. Bam's Unholy Union documented the wedding between Bam Margera and his then fiancée Missy. The show ran between January 30th and April 3rd of 2007. I honestly forgot how funny this series was. I hadn't watched it in several years prior to putting this episode together. Even though planning a wedding was the driving force for the plot, something I normally don't care about, this show was pretty entertaining. The involvement of Bam's friends really helped. The series wouldn't have been nearly as funny without them. Brandon DiCamillo specifically took one for the team on this one. During one episode, he even revived his Ben Franklin character from CKY4. It was also hilarious to see the high-strung wedding planners reacting to Bam's unconventional roommates. Not to mention, this series contained one of the greatest bits ever performed, where Bam and his friends steal all of the toilets in Phil's house while he's not home. Moments like that really make this show worth watching, despite Bam and Missy not being together anymore, which, knowing that, makes the show a bit more depressing to watch. A second season was in the cards, but MTV reportedly demanded that Missy actually become pregnant for the second season, simply to drive the plot of the show. Which, would normally be pretty shocking, but it's MTV we're talking about here, the network that will do anything to bump ratings. So it goes without saying that the show only ran for 1 season. This show is the most easily attainable of all the spin-offs that I've mentioned, as it's available for purchase on DVD directly through Amazon. The DVDs are made to order and printed on demand by Amazon, so I'm not sure of the quality, but I do recommend checking it out if you've never watched the series before. I'll leave a link in the description for the Amazon listing where the DVD can be purchased. That'll do it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you feel so inclined, please give the video a thumbs up and click on both the subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified of future uploads. Thank you for watching today's video, and I'll see you on the next one.